Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma here to about Kagurabachi chapter number 109. This chapter is titled, about the chapter title, it's so spoilery for the end of the chapter. I really don't want to say it at the beginning of this video unless somebody has not read this chapter of Kagurabachi, because I don't want to spoil them on it right now, because I'm sure if anybody's watching this video, you know what happens in this chapter of Kagurabachi. You know about the crazy reveal that we get in this moment. And it's such an awesome reveal, and the chapter title fully culminates at the end of the day, so I don't want to say it right now, but before we do get started, I know I am behind on Kagurabachi chapter reviews. At the time I'm recording this video, chapter number 112 has already come out. And normally of most of these, I'm like, okay, let's just hop straight into the chapter, not really worry about everything going on, and just blaze through it so I can get caught up. But this chapter, I honestly have a little bit of a story to tell about when I initially read this chapter, and another reason why all my Kagurabachi videos have been so late recently. As many of you guys probably do know, I am in college. I'm at college in the mountains of North Carolina. I'll let you whittle that one down to figure out where I go to school. And I, of course, have a really great group of friends up here at my college. A lot of us play D&D together and hang out in other ways and eat dinner and all of that. But one thing that I've always wanted to really learn how to do in my life is how to properly cook a meal. And I'm going to say this, I think I am a pretty okay cook. When it comes to one thing, breakfast. I can only cook one meal, and that is breakfast. You give me a carton of eggs, you give me some pancake mix, you give me milk, eggs, vegetable oil, potatoes for home fries, you give me grits, bro, I could cook all of this up, bacon, any, breakfast meat, I can do it excellently. And because of that, on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., I have this thing saying, hey, I will be in the kitchen of our dorm, cooking up some food that time every single Sunday. And I just let all my friends know, hey, if you want to come up, show up, and I will have some food made for you to eat, pretty much, right? Normally, everybody trickles in, and I'm like, all right, how many people do we have? How much food do I have? We're going to ration everything out this way. But on the release of Kagurabachi chapter 109, of course, chapters come out at 10 a.m. currently on the East Coast of the United States of America. I am into Eastern Standard Time. As I said, I live in North Carolina. Who would have guessed that one? But because these chapters come out of 10 and I start cooking at 10, I can't always be there to read the Kagurabachi chapter on time and then sit down and record a video like I used to do all of these Kagurabachi videos. So I was going through, and this was big breakfast. Everybody that I knew was virtually there in that kitchen, and we were all cooking food, and it was a great time. We cooked a little bit of everything. We had pancakes, we had potatoes, we had bacon, we had eggs. We just had a little bit of everything. Grits, if you can think of a breakfast food, we pretty well cooked it that day, and it was a team effort, and we spent 3 hours just cooking, preparing, and then finally eating all the... Oh, we made French toast that day, too, just incredible. My first time making French toast as well. It couldn't have gone any better. I got to hang out with all my friends. But halfway through doing this, we're all sort of standing around waiting on a few things to cook. The French toast is in the oven. One of my friends is boiling all the starch out of the potatoes so we can cook them up as home fries. And as we're doing all of this, I'm like, oh wait, Kagurabachi came out. So I sit down and I start flipping through all of the pages, and I'm like, okay, so Chiriho, his heart's been stabbed through. Oh no, the Inten is fading away. Oh wow, the Magatsumi's new ability. And I just keep on reading and reading. And about 5 minutes into me reading this chapter in in the kitchen, of course, being I'm sitting here talking to my friends and also reading this chapter of Kagurabachi, I dropped my phone on the ground. I didn't mean to. I've got a phone that it's got a case, but the case is a few years old, and it definitely has seen better days, let me put it that way. But getting to the end of this chapter, the simple reveal, I just almost couldn't speak. It was a chapter that spoke to me on such an amazing level of let's take this character we knew, and let's finally give them what we've all been waiting for the past 60 chapters. And you know what? That's what happens in this chapter of Kagurabachi. So let's go ahead and talk about it now. Last time on Kagurabachi, we had a chapter where it was Inten versus the Magatsumi, one enchanted blade versus another, and in the process of all of that, Akemura just, killed Chiriho again, pierced him right through his heart, and of course, last time, a lot of us were like, oh yeah, so if Akemura put his hand on Chiriho's thing and hey, I'm gonna make sure not to aim for the heart. We see at the beginning of this chapter he clearly did, and of course the Inten got broken last chapter. That was the big thing that happened. And as I just mentioned, we start off this chapter with the look of, Chiriho has been stabbed straight through the heart. And you know what? If there's been 2 manga, spoilers for another very popular manga series starting with My Hero Academia. I know it's the entire name, but just starting with it. Alright, spoiler warning is here. I'll put a warning up on screen if you don't want to get spoiled. But with all of that, this is the second time I've seen a character's heart drawn in this much detail, ever since Bakugo got stabbed, and Edshot had to go in and stitch his entire body up there in a moment, and honestly, I don't know who drew a heart being pierced by something better, Hokuzono or Horikoshi. You know what? We all know that Hokuzono looked up to Horikoshi. Horikoshi helped Hokuzono draft up the first chapter of the manga, so maybe this is just Hokuzono's way of paying homage, you know? But as this happened, we see that the Akemura pulls the blade straight off Chiriho's heart, and she was like, blood, and he's just simply not looking good as he takes a look, and of course the broken Inten is in his hand, and the other part of it, the actual blade, is falling down to the ground below them. As in the moment, Akemura is well, there goes your divine protection. Even Mr. Samura's Suzaku is ineffective in the face of the Magatsumi. You and your enchanted blade have nothing before you but death. As we just see, the Inten is fading away, the hilt is disappearing, just the entire sword is fading into dust right in Chiriho's hand. As Akemura just continues, I pity you, Chiriho. Your time with Kunishige Rokuhira has cursed you with such a fleeting destiny. As in almost a very compassionate move, Akemura comes and takes Chiriho's neck and slowly lays him down on top of these ruins here in the moment. He's not going to, let his nephew just fall to the ground with all this disgrace. He's going to show at the end of the day he put up a good fight. And Samura looks up and sees all of this happen as Akemura is floating down to the ground right next to him. And Akemura's now we see the evidence that Kunishige Rokuhira had lost his mastery. As he of course remembers once more Chiriho being hey, this is the enchanted blade to destroy all of the enchanted blades, as Akemura lands on the ground right in front of Samura. And of course, where else would it be? We see the blade of the Inten crumbling right in front of Samura as well, pierced into the ground. It's almost really this blade couldn't have landed anywhere else, but you know what, I'll give it to him there. As Akemura just continues, his rusty old ideas, and those cushy post-war years. And this katana is the result of his dulled skill. As Inten is just fading away. As Akemura just looks down at Samura. Mr. Samura, you lose. You just bet on a dud. And now I will fulfill my promise. As Akemura grips the Magatsumi, and he holds the blade down towards the ground, almost perpendicular to the landlines and all of that various stuff, and the hilt looks up to the sky. And we see a few of these dark circles start to, or more dark rings, start to emanate from around the base of the Shinichi. And we see one around the base fit, and then more, getting bigger and bigger as they move up, almost forming this very big sphere up in the sky, coated equidistantly by all of these rings of dark power, pretty much. And Soga just says, below us is the Kabanabi headquarters. I have a mission to fulfill. B. as we just see that he declares the word B in the moment. And next thing we know, everything fades to black. And I'm just going to go and say right now, this right here solidified my Kagurabachi Magatsumi abilities ranking scale. Because of course, as I've said in previous videos, Spider is just the best Magatsumi ability. There is just simply no getting around it. Right after it definitely has to come bee. I love bees. I think they're such interesting creatures. And you know what? I've been stung by bees a few times. And funnily enough, it's always been a dead bee that I found and I'm trying to move and I somehow sting myself with it. Now, I've been stung by yellow jackets and wasps before, and all of them have been alive, but I've only been stung by dead bees, fun fact. And you know what? Maybe if I ever get stung by the Magatsumi, that'll mean that it's dead and it can't hurt me from there on, right? But with that, those are my favorite two Magatsumi abilities. After that, it sort of gets a little tough because, like, Butterfly is really cool and Centipede is really cool, but I'm going to give it to Centipede in the third spot. Just because of like, all of the like chemistry between like Aruha and Natsuki, Chiriho and Hakuri, and all of these various things and how they know about the ability to like pull on people's top knots to like bring them down. It's such a fun thing, and for character moments, I've got to give it to Centipede. After that, in fourth position, I just mentioned Butterfly, and finally is Dragonfly. Dragonfly is such a worthless Magatsumi ability. I don't care about it. Nobody should care about it. This is Glowplasma 231 signing out. But either way, we cut to black here in the moment, and the next thing we see is Hakuri's face as he is looking shocked, like, what is this? As he looks right in front of him to where Akemura is standing right in the middle of the Izaru and Hokuto fight. And as all this happens, Akemura is just standing here, the Magatsumi in hand, and Izaru sort of like looks up and holds up his arms, his bead sorcery starts coming around, and Akemura just like walks by him and cuts off his arms. Like, simple as that. Izaru, he's No Arm Izaru now. That's the video title right there. No Arm Izaru. Oh my gosh, how do I just like keep coming up with such peak comedy, right? But as all of this happens, Akemura then like looks around his surroundings, and right where Hakuri was standing, Hakuri is no longer there. As we cut up to a building high up in the sky where Mr. Shiba teleports in holding Hakuri in his arms, and we see that Hakuri's like, whoa, oh, Mr. Shiba, and Shiba's like, oh, thankfully, I finally found you. As he's just like huffing and puffing doing all of this stuff, as he's like, oh, it was the Swordmaster. If he's there, then that means... And Hakuri's like, but Chiriho, like, where is Chiriho? And Shiba just thinks, what happened to both of them? Of course, thinking about Chiriho and Samura here in the moment. As narration just says, moments ago, Hakuri and the others were at the force field's core, more than 300 meters underground. The Magatsumi's B is a concentrated piercing force channeled into a single point. Its unrelenting tip bored into the ground. Of course, like a carpenter bee, like, oh, it's such good theming, Hokuzono. I absolutely love it. As we just get a full page spread here on page number 8 of just a hole in Tokyo. Just everything around it is cleared out. Everything is gone. There is just a massive hole penetrating all the way down to the Kabanabi headquarters. And I also love how this hole is also like tapered because we see at the top of it, it is big, building sized. And then the bottom of it is small, like it seems like barely a few people could fit through it at one time. As in the moment, Hokuto is looking over and he's like, oh, Yura, is that you? And of course, it's not Yura. Akemura looks over, notices the Hishaku emblem on Hokuto's hand. And I love Akemura here. She's just like, oh, so you're in an organization. I don't even know the owner of this body very well. You know what? I'll just worry about you guys later. As he then looks over, he's like, oh, Mr. Izaru, I don't believe you are all unanimously in support 18 years ago when Kunoshige Rokuhira sealed away the blades. I want the names of the ones who are in support. And Izaru sort of looks up at Akemura, just like, oh, and what will you do with that information? And Akemura's like, just watch. As we cut back up to where Shiba and Hakuri are, as Shiba is just here and he's like, wait, so if I join the fight, will I only cause more deaths? Like, even Samura Suzaku didn't do anything. We're talking about a monster who was unstoppable even against the 5 other enchanted blade bearers. As he sort of looks behind him, he's like, hey, Hakuri, do you have your strength back? And Hakuri's like, yeah, I do have my strength back. Like, I'm all good, right? And Shiba just thinks, well, that's good. If Hakuri's okay, that means we can still retrieve the other 2 enchanted blades, which I just do love the idea here in a moment. Like, yes, the original strategy we got like 40 chapters ago, or not 40, more like, wait, like 40 chapters would have been like chapter number like 70. No, I'm talking about like, okay, I'm trying to get like chapter number like 50, 60 chapters ago. That's how numbers work in the grand general world. But I do love that we're still sticking with this idea of like, hey, Hakuri's picking up the enchanted blades. That's how all of this is working with the storehouse ability. And Shiba then just goes back to thinking, we gotta pull back for a moment and regroup. We need to evacuate as many people as we can from the headquarters. Anyone who will stand a chance at landing a blow against him in the future. And we get a few images of a bunch of various characters here who, of course, are the more supporting, important main fighters in the Kagurabachi universe. We see Izami. Makes perfect sense. We see Iruha, Natsuki, Kiri. Yeah, all characters who we got focused on and really still have so much more to go on fleshing out their characters. Of course, we know Iruha, we know Izami decently well, but Kiri and Natsuki, we really still don't know too much about them. We also see Ichiki, one of the other leaders, who we have never seen fight. We have only seen him sort of just stand there and go, well, people thought I was a traitor for a while, but you know what? It's not me. And I love just like down in the corner, like almost as an afterthought, we just see Ikuto here, and of course his maniac self, Hajime Kugara, the animated mask of iron sand by his side. I love that we all are like, yeah, he can stand up to Akemura. Like, just good going, Ikuto. So, of course, like, Shiba needs to go find them because they are going to be our important characters, sort of going forward whenever we have to fight against Akemura again. And in the process of all of this, Shiba is looking around. And as he's looking around, he sees Chiriho dead, laying there. Or not quite dead yet, but not doing very well whatsoever, right? And we also see Samura buried under all of this rubble, the Inten fading away in front of him. As he just looks, and he's like, as many people as possible, as he's just looking, fretting over everything happening here. We then cut back to Akemura, who is raising back up out of the hole that he bored into the Kabnabi headquarters. As we see, he holds the Magotsumi in front of him and declares the words, malediction, as the curse starts to spread around every single thing. As we get narration, malediction accelerates as it consumes the life force in the surrounding area. Whichever way he turns his bloodlust, people die. As Akemura just starts to speak, I'll purge the Kabanabi and place it under my control. With the malediction, I will lead this country. As we just see flowers sprouting out of so many characters, Ichiki, Kasen, Iruha, Izami, all of them pretty much dying here in the moment. As we cut to Mr. Shiba, once again, as he looks and he sees the Inten fading away in front of Samura, and of course, Samura fading away as well. As Shiba just starts to think, the only way to stop the Swordmaster is as he's just looking at all of this, and behind him, Hakuri's like, hey, Mr. Shiba, but Shiba is almost tuning all of it out. Samura lays here, covered under all of this rubble, the Inten fading away in front of him. As he just thinks to Akemura's words, you lose, you bet on a dud. As he's just like, no, you're wrong. As the Inten is almost completely faded away in the moment. We cut up to Chiriho, as he remembers words that him and his father once shared about the enchanted blade and about all of the goldfish. And Chihiro just looks at the intin in his hand, as he just remembers him asking his dad, like, hey, what about this one with 3 colors? Like, what is it supposed to represent? And of course, Shiba's like, hey, it's just supposed to be like super awesome, you know? And Chihiro's like, nah, you're full of it. As Intin fades away, the last memories that Chihiro has of his father, really the last item, is now gone. And Chihiro just starts to shed a few tears because what else is he supposed to do? And on the ground, buried in the rubble, Samura just thinks like, no, you're wrong. Everything that led Chihiro here made him sparkle. And that sparkle proves that he wasn't a dud. The Intin and Chihiro, as he just says out loud, they weren't duds. This light will continue to shine on many. And we can't let that end here. As Chihiro holds nothing in his hand, but suddenly his eyes reopen as weight appears back in his hand. As the Intin starts to reform, we see in the moment black flames, black Suzaku coming off the Intin in Chihiro's palm. As he just looks like, Mr. Samura, like, no. As we get a little bit more narration. Burning up life and wielding it. A power beyond all limits. As we cut back to Soga, who just unleashed the malediction. As he looks behind him, he's like, oh, are those black flames? Are you really going to go on struggling forever? As right behind Akemura, we see Samura standing there. Black flames consuming his body. As Samura's like, yes, because I bet on the future. And that's where we end this chapter of Kagurabachi with the title drop. Kagurabachi, chapter number 109. Tobimune versus Magatsumi. Wow. As I mentioned at the top of this video, this chapter meant so much to me in the moment. Not only reading it with a bunch of friends around and having this crazy reaction of, oh my gosh, what is this B ability? Is Chihiro dead? Like, what's going on? Like, Izaru just got his arms cut off. Like, okay, Shiba has found Hakuri. Like, oh no, but Shiba has like this complex of, I'm only going to get more people killed if I go and try to rescue everybody. Like, all of these factors working together to bring the reveal at the end of the chapter in such a really amazing way. Yeah, the malediction's released, but Seiichi Samura is here to stop it. Just an incredible chapter of Kagurabachi. Like, really, this is one of those chapters that will be going down in history as an 11 out of 10 in my book. Like, I really can't find anything wrong with this chapter. I loved every single part of it, from the highs to the lows to the slightly comedic, like, you know what, we gotta save Ikuto. He's slightly important here in the moment, but gosh, it's such a great chapter of Kagurabachi, and there's not really much I can say at this point. I've already talked about this chapter on the Kagurabachi podcast I'm a part of called the Kabnabi Headquarters. I've already talked about this chapter on a weekly Shonen Jump video. Like, I've already spoken about this chapter so many times and thought about it. There's really nothing more I can add that, because also with these videos, I try to only add my own input into it and not try to like take what I've heard other people say. But what else can I say but just a peak fiction of a chapter? And you know what? We have no Hand Izaru here to save today, maybe? No, it's going to be Seiichi Samura. But with all of that being said, thank you so very much for watching this video on Kagurabachi chapter number 109, of course titled Tobimune versus Magatsumi. And I can't wait to see where this goes next time. I do know where it's going next time. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, I've covered Kagurabachi since like chapter number 100, not like 100, like, oh gosh, 44. I've covered it since chapter 44. There'll be a playlist with all of those videos in the description box of this video and on the in card of this video as well. And yeah, if you did like this chapter, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. And all of the other stuff being said, I will catch you guys next time for Kagurabachi chapter number 110. Again, this was chapter number 109, titled Tobimune versus Magatsumi. Like, I really just got to repeat that chapter out now. I didn't say it at the beginning of the video, so it'll be like, the last 6 minutes, we got to get our reps in, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, great chapter, Kagurabachi, and I'll catch you guys next time. This will be Glowplasma, signing